We are talking about landing pages, lead magnets, and getting people off of YouTube and into your business. Most of the people who I end up talking to, you have a business and your goal is to get people from social media, from your YouTube channel to then go and buy your stuff, right? The goal isn't just to have X number of subscribers on YouTube. The goal is to actually grow the business. So that's what having an effective lead magnet does. I'm going to share some examples of what we have used, how we've shifted our strategy to what we are using now, and sharing some other examples from some of my friends that I think could be helpful as well. So here's what we used to do. We make a lot of videos a day, right? We'll release 30 videos a day-ish across different channels. So it's a lot of content. So what we were initially doing was making a bunch of different programs for people to subscribe to that were free. And I would interrupt my videos saying, hey, if you want to get access to this, there's links in the description. So try to make it as customized as possible. So this would be, you know, a Joe Dispenza top 10 rules. He's sharing his rules, great. And then after the fourth rule, I would come on, I'd be in my car and say, hey, we designed this program around confidence. If you want to get it, click the link below, right? I'll show you what it looks like.
Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, I've designed a special free training to help you do it. The science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action to build a new habit. And I want that for you. I want you to build the habit of self-belief. So what I'm going to do is email you every day for 254 days, a link to an unlisted video that will shift your belief forward. To get on it for free, the link to join is in the description below.
So I'm pitching it. We have the links in the description below, always there. The arrow, always there for the whole thing. I will record a new version of this every week, so there's some variety. So sometimes I'm here in my studio. Here I am in my car. My wife is doing some shopping and I'm filming my next thing. These work surprisingly well. Like the you in your regular life work pretty well. And then it's not just the exact same video every time. So if somebody has seen your videos before, they still are incentivized to do it. So I used to only do it fancy here in my office, but these have worked out. This is just me on my iPhone with AirPods. While she's shopping, I'm pressing record. I have a little tripod or like a handheld little tripod in my hand and go, you know, you know, I mean, the car is decent, but the background isn't anything fancy. Just get a little bit of sun on your face. There's some like shipping company or something, right? It's not like I'm walking on the beach or in Malibu or at the top of some mountain or in some fancy hotel. And it just creates the connection to you. And it forms a little bit of a pattern interrupt from watching the video, right? So if it's your own video and you can't logically find a way to tie it into the content, then you want to interrupt yourself with a pre-recorded version of it in the middle of every video. So what Dan was doing was he's talking about the thing. Here are the 9 habits. And if you want these slides, there's a link below. So it fits perfectly for the video that he's doing. Sometimes it may not fit perfectly. So you interrupt yourself and put an ad in the middle. So this is after rule 4, right? This is this is an hour-long video. We're doing it here at the 10-minute mark. So we'll throw a whole bunch of bonuses at the end, but there's 10 rules. This is after rule 4. We throw in this, and then we'll do a highlight or preview of what you're going to get. So what I'm promising them is 254 days of videos that are going to be emailed to them for free. And then there's going to be a preview of what they're getting. And then back to the content. So pitch me what I'm going to get, show me what I'm going to get, and then the link is in the description. And the more that you can show that on screen, right? Like link in the description, arrow, I'm going to point down there, go check that out. They're much more likely to do it. If you as the host are calling that out, they're much more likely to do it. And then here, this should be higher. Like we have 4 different lead magnets here they can sign up for, but one of these should be higher above the fold. So that's what we were doing. And where that would go if we looked at this or this, they should just go to landing pages. This would be the 254 days. This is what I talked about in the video. And then they can go sign up for here. And it just leads to a pop-up where we can get in. And then this is the 30-day program where name and email. And then we're going to show like some videos. This is standard landing page stuff. You know, what am I going to get? Easy sign up, show some videos of people saying how great it is, show some credibility, like who is this guy? And then some examples of what you're going to get on different days. And then just comments again of how much people really enjoyed it. And then again, sign up again, and, you know, back to testimonials and bonuses and little pictures to show example, right? And this is, you know, 6 figures of email signups from people going through this stuff, right? So you set up the landing page once. We did a bunch of split tests on it. You can see like the number at the top, best life, and then a whole bunch of numbers. So we played around with different variations, and this was the one that converted the best. But this is standard kind of landing page stuff, but just to get a sense of what I'm going to get when I land on the page. And then once you're in your email system, you can help them with whatever else, your programs, your coaching, your paid programs, your books, your consulting, you know, whatever the next step is for them. The other thing I did when I was in book promotion mode was I featured people who talked about my book. So I scheduled a bunch of interviews with people. I asked, when I asked Brendon Burchard, hey, Brendon, what's the #1 thing you did to promote your book? He said, I had people read my book. So I had Larry King read my book, and he gave them like 2 sentences from the book, and they read it on camera. And then he used that as a demo reel of all these famous people, all his friends reading the book. So I said, that's a cool idea. Will you do it? And so he read a couple of lines from my book. And so I did a lot of collaborations with people around the book. This was a live that I did with Grant. I popped on his live, and he's what did he say? You got a book coming out, don't you? And then we started talking about my book.
You just came out.
Where can people get it?
Get it on Amazon, easiest spot, built to serve, right there.
Let's go, man. If you guys don't know Evan, follow Evan Carmichael. He's got a new book out, Build to Serve. Go grab it today at Amazon. Just a good dude right here.
Okay, so that's in the middle of a video, right? So same thing. This is a video we did on Grant. After the 4th rule, we interrupt it. It's Grant and me talking about the book. This was a much longer clip, but you know, we don't want to sit through minutes of me and Grant talking, because they're signing up for, you know, they're watching Grant on the video right now. But here, check the link in the description to get your copy. He's talking about it. So if you have any friends who are willing to read it, they don't have to be as, you know, high up as Grant Cardone, but can you integrate that into your content somehow? Again, I was in book promo mode. I wanted to get people off of YouTube and into buying my book. And so we, with intention, featured a lot more content of my friends who are willing to read the book. So for 30 days, we had 20 something people either read the book or do some kind of collab with this. Like Grant didn't actually read the book, probably. I mean, he didn't read a line from the book like I would for Brendon and other people. But for 20 something days, we featured different people who had read the book, and then we incorporated this clip into it. This isn't a lead magnet. This is going to go to here. Check out Evan's new book. First line, evancarmichael.com/book. And that, I think, goes to Amazon. Yeah, that'll go to Amazon. But you still have it as your own link, because you can redirect that to something else if you want. Right? If you actually made this the Amazon link, then I'd have to, if I ever wanted to change it to something else, then I'd have to go up and update all of the videos versus making it your own website that you can then forward. So this was the second version of it, not a lead magnet, but getting people to take action on something, and still evergreen. Like the biggest advantage of YouTube, again, is that this content will live forever, but my book will live forever. So I'm happy with that, guiding more attention towards the book. But I'm, again, purposely interrupting my video to try to get somebody to take action. Channel analytics. These are the basics. I had to cover up the basics because this is something everybody looks at, but views, watch times, and subs gained. I don't know a single YouTuber who doesn't look at this on their channel. How many views did I get last month? How much watch time did I get? How many subs did I get? It's not super informative because a lot of times they're all connected. So if a video blows up for you, it's going to have lots of views. It's going to lead to lots of watch time, and you're going to get a lot of subs from it. So it's not very, very insightful, but it's good. It's good just to have a high level overview. And if you have goals that you're working towards, most people's big goals are tied to one of these three metrics, usually views or subs, because you want to get that plaque. You want to get that 1 million subscriber plaque or the 100,000 subscriber plaque, or it makes you feel good to say you have 10,000 subscribers on your channel. But it doesn't really help us that much in terms of making strategic decisions. This is more just vanity metrics that people go after. And it's just a good general benchmark. Revenue, though, is important. So for some of you, revenue might be a main driver where you're trying to really make a lot of money from the YouTube channel, and you want that to be the thing that pays for everything. And for some of you, you have a business that's attached to it, and you don't really care how much revenue the channel makes. You're trying to drive app downloads, or you're trying to drive coaching sales, or you're trying to drive book sales, or your program sales, or whatever it is that you're trying to sell. So depending on where you're at with revenue, this might be really important or might not be. But every month, I definitely recommend going in and checking your revenue tab. And what it'll show you is quite often when you release a video, so look at this as an example, when they release a video, the revenue spikes, right? So video comes out, revenue pops each time. So a big thing here is, hey, maybe we should release more videos. If your goal is to make more money off the channel, we should be releasing more than whatever this is, 5 videos in a month. The other really important thing to look at here is top earning videos. So under top earning videos, it'll show you recently, right? So this is past 28 days, and you can, I usually go 90, but you can do it with 28. You see what's popping right now on the channel. Not the videos that did well 3 years ago, if you've been around that long, but what's happening right now. And what you'll almost always find is it's not the 80-20 rule. It's like the 98-2 rule. Like 2% of your videos end up driving 98% of the revenue. It's a pretty giant number in comparison. So even looking at these guys, you know, they made $4,500 in the past 28 days. Their top video looks like that's 400. Is that 400? No, 600, 500, 400, 400, 300, and then it's going to be a big drop off. So you'll find that there are some videos that just pay you super well because they have a really high CPM. So advertisers care about this topic, and others, they won't. And so that could guide content decision. So if revenue from advertisements are something that really are important to you, we're looking at making longer videos, 10 minutes plus, but an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours if you want. And then really paying attention to which videos are actually bringing money in for you. Because inside every niche, there are going to be these super specific videos that just pop off really well for you. And so you look, can I make a round 2 of it? So if monetization is really, really important to you, then looking at your top videos that earn money and trying to make that into either a weekly series or some 5, 7, 10, 20 part series for the channel, if you have more content to share on it. 1, because it pays well. And 2, because you can show up as suggested against those videos. So when somebody's done the first Harvard video from Pablo, and then they see that there's more, they're likely to click on those ones as well. So the first one's making him money. The second one's going to the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, etc. are going to keep making him money much more typically than your average video. So if you're ignoring the revenue tab, there's so much you can dive into in YouTube Analytics that I don't want to overwhelm you and stress you out. But I'm here trying to give you the most important ones to pay attention to that I would do if I were you on a monthly basis. So revenue, paying attention to, does your revenue go up every time you post a video, or is it more flat? So this is a candidate definitely for making more content. Like these guys badly need to make more content. And then also your top videos based off revenue, can you make into a series? Third is traffic sources. I obsess over traffic sources. You should start to obsess over traffic sources. where we want to be is suggested being our number one traffic source. The way to blow up a YouTube channel is off of suggested views, which means you're showing up after other people's videos. So the first game is ranking against your own videos. And we did a presentation on this a month ago, showed you the main ways on how to get suggested. It's critically important because when you start showing up first against your own videos and then against other people's videos, that's when YouTube algorithm takes over and you really start to blow up all your content. Where if browse is your number one or search is your number one, it's going to be a lot harder to really scale. So every month, I would definitely pay attention to on a channel level, where are my traffic sources? What are they looking at? And is it improving? So is suggested 5th on your list this month? And is it 4th on the list next month? 3rd on the list the next? Are we moving in the right direction? Because there's only so many views that come from search, and there's only so many views that come from browse. Or the most of the views, the biggest number of views that you'll be able to get is from suggested. So step number one is showing up against your own channel. And whenever I'm working with somebody and I see that suggested becomes number one as a traffic source, I get really excited for them. But I'm not seeing a huge increase yet. It doesn't matter. It's coming because suggested is number one. Because before you can show up against other people's channels, you have to show up against your own. So a quick hack is to go to Google YouTube Incognito, load up your channel, play a video, and see how many of your own show up down the side. But this is the deep work to show you, hey, here's how many views I'm actually getting from suggested. So every month I would start to really pay attention. You guys can all go look at your channels now, look at past 28 days, and then look at where you were the month before and the month before. And are we heading in the right direction? Because this is the ultimate game to really blow up our YouTube channels. And the last one I look at on a channel level is frequency. So how often are we posting? I mean, my channel, we're posting every single day. But when I'm looking at diving into somebody else's channel, that's what I'm paying attention to. How often are we posting content? There's only so much you can glean from the data if we haven't posted a video in 11 months, right? So for most people, the frequency needs to be going up. So this is my general recommendation to people. So if you're not posting very frequently at all, get to once a week. So step number one is, how do we get once a week some content on the channel? And that should be the goal, whether it's talking to the team or talking to the owners or whoever, like, hey, we need to create, our goal for June needs to be to get a video a week to come out on the channel. Because then that makes all this other stuff more relevant, more practical, more applicable. If you're already at once a week, you go 3 times a week. If you're already at 3 times a week, you go daily, 7 times a week. Beyond this, I don't recommend adding more content. I'd recommend really diving into which videos are performing well for you. But most people aren't here. Some people have a goal to get here, which is great. Don't stress out. Once a week is really just getting you in the game. So looking at this channel as an example, again, where you see this little button here, that's when they uploaded a video. So you see everything spikes when they upload a video. So this is a channel that is just crying for new content. If this was a flat, if you look at my channel, it's my views don't really explode when I put out a new video because I'm doing it so frequently. But their audience here is really crying for new content. And so you have to, that would be my number one suggestion for this channel. And for any of you who haven't posted in a while, I get that it can be hard and maybe discouraging, or maybe you feel like you don't have the right strategy or know what to do. Part of it is just getting it in your system to get out a video once a week, every week. Figure it out, put it in your calendar, put it in your schedule, whether it's you doing it, whether you're working with an editor to help you. For any of this analytics stuff to be meaningful to you, you have to be at least making 1 video a week. At least. I really want you at 3. I secretly really want you at 7, but let's get the 1 a week. Let's get the 1 a week going. So those are some channel level analytics. We talked about going longer, and this is a relatively new thing. if you go back 2 years on YouTube, even a year on YouTube, it wasn't as big a deal as it is now inside of thought leadership. And it's super weird because almost everybody else is going shorter. YouTube shorts, YouTube stories, Instagram reels, TikTok, everybody's going shorter. In thought leadership, it's like, don't even worry about shorts. I haven't seen anybody win with shorts. We have 2 shorts channels. I haven't proven that it is worth your time or investment. I'm telling everybody to go long, longer. 10-minute minimum, but go half an hour, go an hour, go 3 hours. If you're good, like if you know what you're talking about, if you can give a master class, it has a much better chance of helping you build the channel and build the business that you want, as opposed to the really short videos. So just to refresh your back to the top, hashtag YouTube belongs, says Drew. Eddie posted this video. This was his challenge that we had after the last month. Post a 3-hour video, and he did. And because he posted to the group, and guys, share your stuff in the group, share your wins, share what you need help with, because you might get featured on a future BrandLytics session. You never know. Let's look at this video. So I was on, as soon as Eddie posted this, and like, ooh, let's see how it's doing. Let's see how we're doing, Eddie. I want this video to win. Is Evan Carmichael right or not? Does it work? Because Eddie's also kind of on the fringe of thought leadership, right? He's not just a talking head or coaching videos. It's on the motivation side. So views are down, right? This is days. So this video is 9 days old, and views are down. And this is where people freak out. You know, they look at their 1, their 2 days, like, oh my God, this video sucks. Like, it's half of what my usual. The gray line represents the usual. This is what an average video would do. And the blue line represents this specific video. So it's down, but look, hey, it's catching up. It's catching up to our average already. This is actually pretty fast. I would say even within a month, to get suggested to grow is fast. I would be expecting typically in like the 30 to 90 days where it starts to take off, and then over 90 days for sure. But if you're getting it to start to catch up inside of the first 2 weeks, you're doing a really good job. So overall views are down. Okay. Watch time. Woo, that's some nice watch time. Look at that watch time. That is a delicious looking curve, right? That's this video, and this is his average. So he's already double his average watch time in the first 9 days, right? So amazing, amazing start. Let's look at why. So these 2 curves represent suggested is the blue line and browse is the green line. And I looked at it yesterday, and browse was still at the top, just barely. But today, got to check back in this morning to get the most recent data. Suggested is at the top. So you see browse is going. It's good. It's decent. And it's still climbing. But this is what happens with browse. Like, it takes off at the beginning, and then it just slowly keeps going, hopefully. And maybe you'll get a pop every now and then because you hit the homepage. But suggested, this curve can keep going forever. So already inside of 9 days, suggested has passed his browse, which is great. You look at the average view duration. And these numbers may be a little hard to see, but I'll just read it out loud. Suggested 33 minutes. Browse 16 minutes. That's how long people are watching. So in browse, you're only watching for 16 minutes, which is still great. That's still a good number. But they're watching for 33 minutes when they come from suggested. It's double. And that's why it's starting to take off. And you'll see that people on the homepage will have a much shorter attention span. This should be repeated. If you look at your own, everybody here, you look at your own channel stats, look at the average view duration, browse versus suggested. It would shock me if browse was higher. Suggested is always number 1. So that's where we're going to go, because YouTube cares about watch time. So we're giving them lots and lots and lots of watch time here. Right? So even though the views are half, like the views are 1,500 versus 3,000, the watch time is already more. We're getting more watch hours from suggested with half the views. This is a great video. I took a screenshot last night. This is this one. And I took a screenshot again this morning. This is this one. You can see it's picking up. It's already doing better. And look at the #1 traffic source. Last night, suggested was 42%. This morning, suggested is 48%. Suggested is number one. This video has an amazing future shelf life ahead of it. What's Drew saying? Oh, you have more data from Ben's channel? Yeah, I mean, getting data is not an issue. There is tons. I have tons of data on this. I wanted to share, not Ben's. I wanted to share this one because, hey, Eddie's in the group. Now, the other thing that Eddie was really concerned about was, well, what if I go and upset my community? What if I upset the people who are here, who are used to my 4-minute, 7-minute, 10-minute videos? They don't want a 3-hour-long video. If you look at the comments, I haven't seen a nasty Eddie, this sucks, stop posting long videos, right? You're awesome, brother. Keep up the great work. You surely are shining your light in the darkness of others. So freaking good. Thank you. Thank you so much, bro. This compilation is absolutely amazing. Thank you, Eddie, for inspiring, right? So the comments, the data is showing us that it works, but the qualitative data with the comments is also really helping us. Now, just as a quick comparison, the next video he launched was 2 days later and was 4 minutes something. So 3 hours. The one we just looked at, the next video was almost 5 minutes. I hate 4 or 5 minute videos inside Thought Leadership. But let's look at a quick comparison to see, right? So far, this one has more views. The shorter one has more views, even though it came out 2 days later. The views are actually decent. This is a good video for him, right? The gray line is average. This are views, and he's at the upper end of his average for views, which is great. The watch time, though, is way below his average. And that may or may not catch up. The difference is here. We look at his real time. I pulled this, I don't know, 30 minutes ago. There's no suggested on this page. Browse, notifications, channel, YouTube search, other features. So if suggested here, it's less than 5%. This is a big problem. So these kinds of videos put you on the rat wheel. Is that a thing? Hamster wheel? The hamster wheel. Puts you on a hamster wheel. Thinking rat race and hamster wheel combined becomes rat wheel. This video puts you on the rat wheel, where you basically have to keep making video just to get the short-term views, but there's no long-term sustainability on most of these because you can't rely on browse. Notifications is going to go away because notifications, it's only at the very beginning of a video, and with no suggested, it's going to go down. And it says I'm on the rat wheel. We've just coined a new term. And also, without diving deep and sharing all revenue numbers for Eddie, this video is getting less than half of the CPM. So even though it has more views right now, short term, out of the gate, it looks better. This video is going to be a lot harder for him to get views, get subscribers, and is making less than half of the CPM on the video compared to that 3-hour one that he just did. Cool. Let me just share a couple examples, and we'll from my top 10 channels. So this is one we did here. Now this is a newer thing, right? This is an old video. This is 500 days old. So the views, this is an hour-long video where normally I'd be making 15 to 20-minute videos. So it's hour 20, massively underperformed on the views, but now it's picking up on the views. So now it's in the average of our views. The watch time was, average, but now, it's popping a lot harder. This one, same thing, 400 days old. Like, this is a relatively new thing where YouTube is really showcasing, promoting longer videos. I wouldn't have recommended the strategy back here 400 days ago, but past 6 months, heck yeah. So views massively underperformed, and then boom, took off. Watch hours, you can't even see the average line. It's, it's tiny there. This one took off. And if you just look at the traffic sources, you can see why, right? The blue line is suggested. The green line is browse. So as you get more suggested, it'll be recommended in browse more too. You'll see these often. Browse can trail suggested, but it's 69% coming from suggested. So going long makes that huge difference. So solo videos. The most important thing is to lead with a powerful opinion. And the question I always ask people is, what do you believe that others don't? So you're going to make a video on habits. Great. What do you believe about habits that other people don't, that they would find weird? Like, I can't believe you said that. Because this is our goal, is to hook somebody in. This is specific for thought leadership videos. You are a thought leader. You are an expert. You know things that other people don't know. That's the whole idea. Why am I watching you? Because you're going to teach me something. So what do you believe that I don't already know? And that's the first thing that comes out of your mouth. So, you know, when I've done my Thought Leadership Academy, we'll spend half a day just working on this stuff, practicing it, like writing it down and then saying it to the camera, because it's really hard. A lot of times it's hard to get out of our own heads. And so imagine, what I find helpful is imagining somebody. Imagine one of your clients. So Stephen might imagine an entrepreneur, Robert or his wife might be imagining somebody who's, you know, dealing with trauma. Like, you picture somebody. And then that's the first thing. You're talking to this person. I would always picture this photographer friend that I knew who always seemed to struggle, could never seem to figure it out. And instead of talking to the camera, like, I'm talking to this guy, I'm talking to you. How would he react? When I had my cameraman, there was one of them that always seemed to kind of disagree with what I said at the beginning. And it's like, great, you're perfect. So I pitched my first sentence to him, and then I see what his reaction was. And then that would change how I would then pitch my next sentence, right? If he said, wait, what? It's like, perfect, I got my first sentence. If he agreed with me, it's like, okay, no, I gotta change it up. So lead with a powerful opinion. The first thing out of your mouth, this is really hard, because again, a lot of times people click record and then they go back, they default to how they've done it. Hey, welcome back, it's Evan. Like, no, I just told you, don't do that. Powerful opinion, first thing out of your mouth. That's how we need to lead this session. So most important part, deliver it with power as well. So this is where a lot of thought leaders also struggle, is that, okay, you finally get the perfect sentence out, but it's not delivered with any enthusiasm or excitement. And this is from some top people as well, who I know are great speakers. They're trying to memorize that first sentence. And then when they say it, the words come out perfect, but there's no emotional commitment to it. You have to be emotionally connected to the thing that you're saying, as if somebody is in front of you right now and they're struggling with that very thing and they need to hear from you. I know sometimes that's hard, just talking to a camera in studio and you're trying to stress out about memorizing that first line, etc. But your stage presence really, really matters. For anybody who's done speaking, you can get up on stage and say the exact same words, but if you don't have stage presence, you don't believe what you're saying at the core of your being, you're not going to sway the audience. It's the exact same thing. When you're talking to a camera, you're talking to a bigger stage than you would at any other stage, but you don't see them. And so that makes it a little more challenging. So whether you can call yourself out on it, or if you've got somebody on your team who's filming with you who can say, hey, that wasn't very good. Do it again. I remember when I recorded my audiobook for both Built to Serve and Your One Word, I had two people in my ear, my producer who's looking at all of the technical stuff of like, oh, you know, your stomach rumbled or something. Do that again. And then I had another producer who was in LA who was more paying attention to the tone. Like, hey, Evan, you read it perfectly, but there was no energy there. He's like, okay, thank you, man. Do it again. And I'd pick up from that line. So the emotional commitment, like, are you actually feeling the words that you're saying as opposed to just saying the words? Really, 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 really matters. Once you get into the teaching, you'll be fine. I very rarely meet somebody who signs up for this program or other thought leader experts, trainers, coaches. I'm not here to teach you how to teach. For the most part, you guys do that great. Once you get into the teaching, you're fine. And you see that in the retention curves. Like, people are watching. It's just that beginning part. And if we don't hook them in at the beginning, they're not going to watch the rest of our teaching. So powerful opinion, first sentence. Second sentence is context sentence. Like, what did you just say? You just told me something that doesn't make sense to me. You told me something that's challenging one of my belief systems. So repeat it again in different words. Make it make a little bit more sense. And then raise the stakes. And raise the stakes says, what happens to me if I don't change this thing about myself? If I don't make this change by watching this video is going to teach you something. It's going to change my life. I'm going to become a new person at the end of this video, right? That's at least your emotional state going in. That's why we're making this video, to shift somebody's belief system on something that you know about. If I don't make that shift in this video, what happens? What happens to me? If I stay stuck, what happens to me? Your job as a thought leader is to give perspective. It's not just this one-off little moment that I'm struggling. It's my entire life. And so that's your job, is this one little thing that people think they care about. They need to have a much broader view of how this is impacting every area of their life. And if you fix that, it becomes the cornerstone habit to change everything in your life, right? It's like, oh my God, I thought I was just searching for a video. Now I'm watching this person who's about to change my whole life, right? So that becomes your job. So powerful opinion, context sentence, raise the stakes. If you have to write those down, those 3 sentences, if you have to record it 30 times until you get the energy and the flow right, it's worth it. Because once you get through this and you get into the teaching, you'll be fine. I don't need you to do another take when you're 20 minutes in and you're on point number 2 of whatever your teaching is going to be. But if you don't nail the first 3 sentences, film it again and film it again and film it again until you got the words right. And most importantly, you got the heart right. So here's Anna, who a member of the channel. I don't see her today, but Robert, her husband, is here on the stream. So Robert can be taking notes. This is one of her videos, Trauma Bonding Explained. And YouTube has added something relatively new for cards on these retention curves. So if you ever see an eye here, you can click over it and it'll show you what's going on. So she's got 3: intro, continue segment, and dip. Intro is going to be here in that blue section. Continue segment is probably going to be here. And then the dip is going to be at the end. It'll give you some data on it. We're not super focused on these other 2 segments. We're focused on what happens at the beginning. So if you hover over the eye on this one, it says 81% of viewers were still watching at the 30-second mark. This is higher than typical compared to your other recent videos. Nicely done. Hey, good job. Good job, Robert. You guys are doing it. So we're looking at this video, right? It's a 13-minute video, Trauma Bonding Explained. And I polled, okay, well, what is she doing? You know, what's happening? Why is it so good? So at the 118 mark, she's still at 73%. 118 into the video, she's still at 73%. So this is a great video. How does she start the video? There's one kind of romantic relationship that I wouldn't wish on anyone. And that's the kind that's been made intense by a trauma bond. If you were abused or neglected as a kid, you've probably been through it. And I want to help you make sure it never happens again. Right? Robert's smiling. Hey, she's doing a good job. She's doing a good job, Robert. Give her some props. This is great. I mean, it's 4 sentences instead of 3, but it's still great. So, you know, we have a powerful opinion, context sentence, raising the stakes. The only thing I would swap out here is probably. If there was a one critique on here, I would not use the word probably. At the beginning of any video, you don't want to hedge. If you were abused or neglected as a kid, you've been through this. And if there is a hedge, then you address it later. But we don't address the hedge at the beginning. And that's where, you know, if Anna were here, I'd ask her, well, okay, how many people who've been neglected and abused as a kid have not been through this trauma? Right? And it's probably some really low percent. So don't hedge. But everything else is great. And so she leads with a powerful opinion. She's hitting 73% at 118 into the video. YouTube's giving her props for having such a great intro on it. And look how well the video is doing. Right? So this video is just over a month old, 43 days, let's call it. 20,000 views, which is 5.5 thousand more than usual. So the gray line is what a usual video would do. And here's how this video is doing. So all in, great job. You know, and Anna used to start her videos with something else. It used to be, hi, I'm Anna, I'm the crappy childhood fairy, on and on and on. She switched it to powerful opinion and it's working. So we like sharing the success stories as well. Now, I also pulled an old video from the channel that didn't have the powerful intro. And this one is about meditation. So one, I mean, the thumbnail isn't as good. You know, it's an older video. So Robert, we can go back and work on that one. But look what happens at the beginning. You know, just tanks. Why? Well, look at what's happening on this video. It's the typical logo with music, crappy childhood fairy, right? And boom, instantly tanks. right? So now this video also talks about meditation. That's the promise, how to meditate twice a day, something. The meditation doesn't actually start until here. So this is where when we need to match the thumbnail and the title and the beginning of the video, because people are skipping ahead to get to here because they don't want to see any of this intro, or then Anna starts talking about meditation, etc. This is this is a 24-minute video. So this is at least 3-4 minutes into the video, 5 minutes maybe, before something actually happens that delivers on the promise. So when you see a curve that drops this drastically, there's something wrong with our intro, right? So now we can't go back and fix this, but going forward, it's a great example of what is working and what is not working for the channel. This is a fun topic. This is something that I obsess over. How do we get our 1 minute audience retention? It's a super geeky topic. Of all the things that that I try to teach when I'm doing presentations, this is the only thing that I get technical with: the audience retention curve, the audience retention curve, the audience retention curve. Like, remember this thing, pay attention to it. Look at your data, because it's easy to get lost in YouTube data, but this one is super, super, super important. Understand that YouTube's goal is to keep you on YouTube, right? That's their goal. So the more you're keeping people on YouTube, the more they're going to promote your videos. And so many people focus on the entire video, which is important. But what often happens is if you get the first minute down really well and you're keeping people for that attention, they'll watch the rest of the video. If you go look at most of your curves, you'll see it's mostly flat or just slowly sloping down. But that first minute is where we tend to lose people. So people are often shocked. If you go look at your own stats, people are often shocked at how poorly their videos are doing in that first minute. So today, that's what we are talking about. Let me share my screen. Boom. Specific strategies that boost viewer retention. Ooh, I'm excited. Okay, let's dive in. So the goal is 70% at 1 minute. This is a really hard number to hit, especially consistently. Nobody hits this number consistently. Not inside thought leadership. I don't do it. Nobody that I've looked at does it. It's really, 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 really hard. And I've looked at everybody's channel, at least the big channels inside thought leadership, but it's still the goal. It's still that elusive, here's what we're working towards. And this curve, that's the audience retention curve. You'll see this on every single video. This is free inside YouTube Studio product. You can get lost again in data, but this one is super, super, super important. And it'll show you basically where people are falling off. So wherever, here, whatever happened here, that sucks. Then that was good. Then that sucks. And then that sucked at the end. And then these little peaks here, this is what we're going to share to social content, right? We've talked about this in the past, but just quick refresh. This slide is one of you guys may have seen in the past. 1 minute retention. This video we did had 73% at 1 minute, has almost 3 million views on the channel. And this is what a typical curve will look like, right? It should be slowly just declining over time. And it's this part that we're really trying to optimize in this first minute, trying to make sure that we're keeping it not that big a slump. So you'll always get this. You'll always get this little drop here at the beginning. The key is not making that drop and losing 40% of our audience, which happens to a lot of channels. So here's something that we haven't talked about yet that I wanted to just bring up on your radar. TubeBuddy has a tool that I requested and helped them build called the Retention Analyzer. Now it's a little buggy, and they don't update it very often because they basically made it for me and some of the people who like using it. But it's not part of their core thing that like everybody's using it for. But if you are using TubeBuddy for split testing, right now, TubeBuddy is a tool that we use. We've done over 10,000 split tests on the channel, thumbnails, titles, etc. If you're on that program, you're on that package, I think that's $50 a month, something like that. It's not crazy expensive. They have something built in here as well called Retention Analyzer. So if you go to your TubeBuddy, you click on Data and Insights on the left, and then scroll down to Retention Analyzer, it'll pull up your most recent, it's not all, it says all videos, it's not, it's gonna be your most recent, I think 50 videos. And then you can sort by retention at various timestamps. So I'd say we sort by the 1 minute mark and see where you're at. and you can just get a sense of how well you're doing, which videos are performing well, which videos aren't, just to give you a sense, instead of having to go videos one by one by one by one by one, this will help you get an overall sense, and see where you're doing well and which videos are not doing so well, and where you need to make a few adjustments to help your channel grow. So I would definitely check that out. If you're on the package for the split testing, you're already paying for this anyway, so you might as well take a look and see which videos are performing well and where there's some room for improvement. Okay, so today we're going to talk about a lot of the do's, but before that, I want to talk about some of the don't do's. So these are the things you want to avoid when you're starting your video. Okay, these will destroy your audience retention curve. Intros. Hi, I'm Evan and I XYZ, right? No intros. Live stream welcomes are the worst. A live stream, the first couple minutes usually really, really, really suck on a live stream. You're welcoming people, you're saying hi, you're asking about their day. That's great for a live stream environment, but not great for a YouTube video. Again, we're trying to assume that people who are watching our videos don't know who we are. That's our target audience. We're not talking to our subscribers. We're talking to our non-subscribers. This is the first time they're seeing you. So we want to hit them with something that's going to be really powerful. Don't do a sizzle reel. You getting out of your car looking fancy or on stage looking like a special person. Like, none of that stuff really brings in a lot of attention. Call to actions. We don't want call to actions at the beginning because we lose people. You'll see a big drop in your audience retention curve. And then audio only. Audio only is really hard. I'm working on a couple strategies actually with some podcasters. Like, how do I turn my podcast into a YouTube video when I don't have video, when it's just an audio stream? And every time I've seen it, it's really tanked. But if you can make it visually appealing, I think there's a case. I think there just hasn't been a lot of innovation on the podcasting side for how you can play with visuals. So these are all the don't do's. Don't do any of these things. And if you're looking at your data and you're seeing that you're at 40% retention at 1 minute, you're probably doing one or multiple of these, and it's not helping your videos grow. Okay, so we just finished a breakdown of 990 of our videos. This just happened on Tuesday. So what day is today? Thursday. So 2 days ago. I haven't even gone through all the data myself yet, but I had one of my guy. I have a full-time data analyst on my team, and that's what he does: is goes and looks through our data and gives us suggestions on what's working, what's not working. And he compiled this giant spreadsheet of which videos are popping hard. We're at 78% retention at 1 minute, and which ones are underperforming. And so I'm going to share with you some of the insights that we found today, which I'm excited because I didn't even know some of these things until Tuesday. Having a full-time data analyst really, really helps. So I'm excited. Let's dive in and look at some of the data. Okay, so that first minute, again, our goal is to capture attention. So multiple camera angles we found really, really has been helping. And this is some of the stuff that I used to do that I haven't done as much. It's shocking when you look at your data, you might find, oh, something I was doing back in 2019 is actually outperforming what I'm doing right now. And all of these numbers are for the past 90 days on my channel. So it's not lifetime of video. This worked. I've been around for 12 years or something. So it's not like this worked back in 2014 and it doesn't work anymore. All the stats is based on the last 90 days. So multiple camera angles. We did 4 transitions in the first 15 seconds, and that helped lead to 78% at 1 minute. Okay. Getting outside, switching up the background, having some color. Again, this one, 4 transitions in 18 seconds, 70% at 1 minute. So I'm seriously looking at, okay, what could we do besides just using, I love my studio, but besides just using the studio, what else could we use? Where else could we go? Now, some of this requires more editing. This one is pretty simple. This one, even if you're doing it yourself, you could just do different camera angles. For the intro, this is only for the first minute. Don't worry about making it highly produced. I value editing, but I think ultimately it's going to be your capabilities to pull out great information. It's going to carry the day. But in that first minute, especially, the editing can make a difference to hook somebody's attention. So you could do this even if you're filming on your own. But if you have somebody as a camera operator helping you, you can move to the side, move around, just have different angles. And again, just getting outside if you can, if it's warm. We got summer, right here. So can you do anything outside? to just shake up the background, just to make it a little more interesting, a little more appealing. One hack that Bilyeu loves doing for his ads. If you don't know Bilyeu, he's one of the experts on advertisements. So YouTube ads, Facebook ads, etc. Is go look up in your city, what are the top places that people like to go to, and then try to film there. So it takes more time. It takes more budget. It takes a team to maybe help you. But if there's an interesting background, so I'm in Toronto, there's, the CN Tower, there's Niagara Falls, there's, different places. But if you look at the top places people like to visit, and then that happens to be in your background, that could help just get people interested at the beginning. Fast cuts. So here's an example where we did 10 transitions in 21 seconds, where we're doing a preview of things to come. And this is something that after looking at the data on this, we're going to be playing with it. Instead of longer clips, doing coming up, leading with shorter clips, but more of them, as opposed to longer, more in-depth clips. Really, that first minute is people are justifying their time with you. I don't know who you are. I like the topic. Do I want to watch this video? It's like people will skim an article before they read it. That's what's happening right now. So if you can give them a chance to skim the video before they watch it, you can hook them in. So this is something we're going to be playing a lot more with. After seeing this, I just instructed my team, hey, I want our next 2 weeks of videos on the top 10 channel. I want to be doing 10 cuts for each one. And let's see if we can play this out. So think about your own videos, think about your own content. You don't have to have 10 rules, but how can you take some of the highlight moments and instead of just 1 or 2 highlight moments, go for 5, 6, 7, 8 highlight moments that are in more rapid succession to say, okay, there's a lot of meat coming up in this video. I want to watch it. So this was really mind-blowing for me. This was some experiment we did, I don't know, back in 2016, just as a one-off, and never went back to it for whatever reason. It's like, wait a minute, that actually worked. Let's go back and look at it. And when you have 10,000 videos like I do on my channel, there's a lot of data to pour through to get some interesting information. So super fast cuts. I would definitely play with some of these for your videos. Welcome, everybody. So this month we're doing a topic breakdown, and the theme was importance of editing / high quality video and B-roll, etc. That was posted by Andrew. So that's what we're gonna have a quick discussion on here. And I thought I'd pull up some channels and talk about it too. The key thing that we want to think about here, all that matters in terms of editing and B-roll is attention. Are you keeping people's attention? So the two things that we need to focus on is, can we get people to click on our video? And clicking on the video is a function of, what are we calling it? What's the title? What's the thumbnail? So that we're showing up, and then people, it's an attractive thing that I want to click on and go see. Once they're on the video, then it's about retention. Are you keeping people? How much are people sticking around and watching the video? And this is where editing / B-roll / whatever else goes into production of the video matters. What I found over and over and over again is inside education, the B-roll, especially if we address that first, like B-roll almost doesn't matter. You can, and we have some on ours, but it's not a big deal. Like, why are people coming to watch your video? They're coming to learn. If I mean Andrew specifically, if Andrew, who's doing fitness videos or recipe videos, if you're going to be showing off B-roll of the food or your biceps or whatever the thing is, cool. But if it's B-roll of somebody else, like just some guy working out in the gym, then it's probably not going to have a big impact. And for the most part, it takes a lot of time to do unless you're hiring an editor, which you could. But I'm here for education. So what are people here to watch? They're here to watch education. Just like when you're going to watch a movie, you're going to go watch it for different reasons. You're going to watch it for a laugh. You're going to watch it for the special effects. Like there are some movies that you don't really care that much about the plot or the drama because the special effects are just so epic, and you're going for, that's why you're going. You have to go watch it on the IMAX to see the crazy special effects. So inside thought leadership, why are people coming? They're coming for the education. They're coming for the learning, right? So that's my quick thoughts on B-roll, and we can dive in deeper if you want to, maybe B-roll of yourself doing something, but for me, it's always cost benefit. You know, if that has a tiny, like if it's a 1% improvement versus you spending more time on the education or you making an extra long form video, it's not even close. Like, go make the video. I was talking to somebody who's in Mover Makers, and she spends, you know, a couple hours in her videos. She spends a couple hours planning and filming the videos, and then 4 hours editing the videos. It's like, it's just not a good use of time. Unless you love editing and you want to learn how to be an editor, spending 4 hours editing a video is just not a good use of time. What's better is to train yourself to be a better speaker. And that first minute really matters. Most of you are probably good once you're in the video at holding attention. So if you're doing an interview, you know, if Lydia's doing an interview with somebody, or Andrew's going through his workout routine, or sharing something on your iPad or whatever, like once you're into the content, you're probably pretty good at doing it. It's the first minute that really matters. And we default to thinking about like B-roll and such. In thought leadership, it has almost no impact. Dana says, what about a splashy intro video? As long as it contributes, so the intro really matters. Think about somebody's experience. So they're trying to learn how to write a book, right? In Dan's case, I want to learn how to write a book. I want to write my book in a flash. I've got a message in me. I want to get it out there. The scroll mindset is definitely there at the beginning, because I'm trying to justify, why should I spend time on this video instead of somebody else's video? And I'm making a judgment call in the first 30 seconds as to, do I want to keep watching this video or not? We've tested so many different things, and we still test. And it's probably one of the most frustrating things that I go over with my team, especially Ivan, who's been with me for so many years, is like, okay, but we've tried that before. We've tried that. There's not stuff we're struggling to find new things to try. And whether it's our own ideas, or, you know, we're modeling a Mr. Beast video or something else. We've tried theatrical intros with crazy music and motivation. We've tried showing words on the screen and flashing it in. We've tried like massive super cuts, so like boom, 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 boom. And the thing that still has the biggest impact that we cannot beat is just going right in with a powerful opinion. In education. Because I am watching your video. Why? I'm not watching your video for entertainment. I mean, maybe you guys are really funny. I'm not. You're not coming and watching me for my jokes. You're coming to learn. Yeah, you're coming to learn. You're coming to learn. You're coming to get better. So if somebody's in that education mindset, you have to lead with teaching me something that I don't believe. So what do you believe that I don't believe? And you could add some visuals. I think if anybody here, you know, Andrew's probably the most visual person, right? Because if he's talking about how to get killer biceps, I want to, if I'm coming on the video, say, here's how to get killer biceps, and I'm not showing off killer biceps, it's like, who's this guy who's telling me about a workout routine? Where everybody else here, I think, is more just about like, what's in your mind, right? If Dan's going to teach me about how to write a book, I can't make a judgment call. Like, what's the set going to be? Maybe there's a ton of books behind him. It doesn't really matter though. Like, I'm trying to get the sense of what's in his brain for all of you. Like, how do I know if Phil's a good lawyer or not? Is there a Lawyer of the Year award that he can hang on his wall? You know, like, I don't know. I can't make a judgment call until I hear you speak, for most of you. So then the most important thing to hook attention is to hear you speak. So what are you going to share with me that's going to make me stop the scroll? So if I want to write a book, I'm going through videos. I see Dan's, okay, I'm giving people like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 4 seconds, 30 seconds. I'm scrolling through videos before I decide to go and watch that 20-minute video. And so you've got to capture my attention in that first 30 seconds to minute. And if you can and keep them, then they're much more likely to stick for the whole video. And then having B-roll and stuff in the middle of that video has little to no impact, because it's an education.
Evan?
Yeah. Hey, Pablo.
Evan, Sorry, guys, I'm in the car, but one time you mentioned that one of the things that it can be good is when we use two cameras and you show one of your videos.
You can. This is like incremental improvements. So if you have a second camera or a higher quality camera, it's incremental improvements. But I would always default to making more videos than production quality of videos. Quality of thought really, really, really matters. Quality of thought is the most important thing because you're a thought leader. This is a thought leadership kind of video. So quality of thought really matters. Production quality is not what they're coming to your channel for. So if you're already at max capacity in terms of making, if you're making daily videos already, then we can start worrying about production quality. Otherwise, like I'm here, I'm selling my place. I bought a new home. I'm selling my place. So it's being staged right now. Lydia says, I like the colors, but this is not my usual kind of vibe and environment. But whatever, I can make videos from here. It's not going to make a big difference. You know, it would not impact my retention as long as it doesn't impact how I show up. Because if I show up and I'm insecure and I feel like, oh my gosh, why am I? This is not my usual microphone. You know, it's not my usual anything. That, you know, does it matter for you guys? You know, no, it's like, that's it. I'm dropping out of BrandLytics. Evan changed his background. He's not on this fancy microphone. I'm out. Screw this guy, right? No, because you're not here because of my background or the microphone I use. You're here because hopefully I've got something that I can teach you from all the stuff that I've learned and tested. So that's all like minor improvements. If I'm learning, if you're going to teach me, Pablo, how to negotiate, then all I care is that I'm going to learn how to negotiate. And having a second camera, again, go prove it wrong. You know, it's not that you can't do it. They're just it's usually minimal improvements for most thought leaders, and the amount of effort goes through the roof. The amount of effort to then, especially if you're doing it yourself, right? If you had a team or somebody coming in and filming you, cool, then let them do their thing. If it's you and now having to set up two cameras and then go find B-roll and then edit that all together, then that usually that equation doesn't work out. And the better solution is spend all that time you're researching cameras and setting it up and adding B-roll. Spend that time to make a third video or a second video or a fourth video. Or spend the time being a better speaker, training yourself to not need editing so that the first minute is punchy. Because if you spend, for my movie makers friend who spent 4 hours editing the video, if she spent 4 hours practicing the speech or practicing what she was going to say so that she doesn't need editing, that's a better skill that will serve her forever. Because you guys will have to, whether YouTube is still around in 30 years or not, the skill set of communicating to a camera is never going to go away. When we're all holograms and beaming into Michael's living room, having this session, it's still talking a bunch of cameras, right? And so that's a skill set that's worth learning instead of, if you're interested and you're passionate about it, cool. Yes, go for it. But if it's just a strategic move, like, hey, I think this is really going to help my channel, then I would default to making you better instead of making the production quality better. Quality of thought, definitely. Yeah, you can go prove it wrong. Like go try a second camera and see and show if the retention's better. But every time I've seen production quality go up, you hope like, this is it. Now I'm big time, you know, now I'm ready to go. And then like, oh, it's the same.
If you want to see this full video as well as train live with me twice a month to blow up your brand, join the BrandLytics training program. There's a link to join right there next to me. Continue to believe. I'll see you there.